We tend to view a person's responsibility for situations as being very cut and dry. Either they are responsible for any and all events that have transpired, or they're simply not to blame in the slightest. I've contemplated as to which situation I wish to apply this to. Jean being responsible for Pyrrha's death, Ozpin being responsible for the fall of Beacon, but ultimately I've decided to apply this to Raven and Yang. The information I'm about to tell you can of course still be applied to those and many other situations like it, but I'm primarily going to focus on Raven and Yang for now. So, if I were to ask you, is Raven responsible? Chances are you might think that relatively. As a mother, you would say no, but as a leader, you might say yes. However, if I were to ask, is Raven responsible for Yang's situation? Then chances are you might say yes. There's this weird line as far as how the phrasing goes. I'm going to be talking about the Raven being responsible for Yang's situation. Maybe I can help pull Raven out of this bad picture she's been painted into. You see, to hold someone as being responsible for a situation, there needs to be a clear chain of causation. Let's use that Adam and Yang fight and put it into a hypothetical. If when Yang attacked Adam, and that bird we see for one frame was indeed Raven, if during that fight when the two clashed, Raven jumped in for a second and tried to push Yang out of the way, most would say she is not responsible for the event of Yang losing her arm. The goal at hand was to save her life. Her arm was an unforeseen consequence. She made a good faith effort to help, but didn't think of the harm that could transpire later. However, on the other hand, if she purposefully moved Yang into a position to have her arm chopped off, she would be held responsible for what had happened. There's this weird double standard when it comes to responsibility for actions. We tend to be held responsible for the negative consequences of bad acts, but not of good ones. In other words, when you do something bad, such as committing crimes of vandalism, destroying property, and you're a villain, your crimes must be punished. But when you destroy property and do the exact same thing, but you're on the hero's side, there is simply no punishment to be had. I pushed you out of the way of Adam, but you lost an arm in the process. A bad thing, but not something you would be held responsible for. We've all acted ethically and ended with bad results. Now, if Raven were to have done something wrong and gotten someone hurt, she would be held responsible, even if she didn't know it was going to happen. Let's change one crazy hypothetical and make it an even crazier hypothetical. Say Raven catches Tai cheating on her with Summer. She leaves the team and leaves everyone. She might feel sorry for what she has done, but she shouldn't feel responsible. Now, if she were to catch Tai cheating on her with Summer, and unsaid events had transpired, which ultimately results in the death of Summer, then she would feel responsible, and rightly so. Raven would have had to have done something wrong that directly led to the bad situation. If you pin Raven, or say anyone, responsible for anything directly, there must be a clear cause. It's like blaming Raven for the fact that Yang lost her arm just because she gave birth to her. Yang losing her arm is an unforeseen consequence of her birth. Now say if Summer was told that her daughter, if ever born, was to destroy the world, Summer would be held responsible for birthing that child. She would have known the outcome for what she was about to do. Without that direct cause, responsibility is very loose. Let's move slightly away from normal responsibility and look at moral responsibility. Many philosophers believe motivation to be the true barometer of a person's moral character. You can't just do good things and then be classified as a moral person. It's a matter of doing the right things for the right reasons. If Raven saved Yang once and only that one time because she said she would, that doesn't make her a very moral person. Because while she may have done a good thing, it didn't seem as though it were for the right reason. But if you act for the right reason, it doesn't really matter if your actions go as planned. As the saying goes, it's the thought that counts. If Raven saved Yang for the right reason, i.e. she saved her because she was her daughter and didn't want to see her harmed, then Raven would be classified as a moral character. Something you should really be looking for as this volume and potential other volumes continue if you want to see if someone is a moral character, is whether or not they sacrifice their own interests. Are they putting themselves in harm's way solely to save or help someone else? Don't get me wrong, it's not a perfect way to classify someone as being moral, but it helps. But aside from that, you should also be looking for whether or not her actions are for her own self-interests. Doing something solely to help yourself can negate pretty much every other action prior to this. But ultimately, here's the thing you have to keep in mind when it comes to Raven and any other characters. They do what they think best. Raven has made decisions and she shouldn't have to apologize for it. She has made very rash choices, and she will pay the price. You in the end choose the action that you deem right or simply the best choice that you have at the time. It's a decision you might end up regretting in the future, and you might regret any and all fallout that one choice has made. But the thing is sometimes you have to make a choice, even if it may result in abandoning your daughter. With that said, that is going to do it for this video. Thank you for making it to the end. I appreciate it a lot. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and comment down below as to what you think about Raven. Subscribe if you're interested in more content like this, and I'll see you in the next video.